Survivor Series is my last match. You people seem to forgetting who I am and what I've done. All the sacrifices I made, whether tearing everything out of my knee, breaking my neck.
No, I've never been quiet about it. I was super uncool with it. I went up the chain. I went to the producers. I went to the writers. I went to Vince. It was a hard no.
This is how you repay me?
My childhood hero, the person who I looked up to, a match that honestly I never thought was going to happen. But tonight we got the best version of Lita. She still got it.
2004!
Feeling the support of the crowd, and then the locker room, and the cheering crowd.
Welcome everyone from Deville, this is Diaz.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star.
And we have our special guest, Sarah Shockey here.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Very Merry Christmas.
Ho ho ho. God bless us everyone.
It's giving very Charlotte Flair.
I just love how you always match the Saudi vibe like perfectly, whatever's going on.
This year you go a little more form-fitting.
Yeah,
Last year I
right.
had to go large Sriracha Muchacha t-shirt.
Yeah.
And it's good it wasn't that way this year because I've sliced it up into a sexier workout t-shirt.
Yeah.
Let's go into WWE Elimination Chamber 2022.
3 matches.
3 matches.
And like clothes that you wouldn't be embarrassed to wear to a barbecue.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, I'm so glad we're past the big t-shirt, long sleeve era. Now it's just like random bodysuits. And maybe this is why there's been so many bodysuits on TV lately, because they were like prepping for this match where everybody wear bodysuits. But I'm glad that they actually look like they would wear that.
Right.
Whenever they do it, where the women are so covered up, it makes me see the men so much more like, whoa, their nipples.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about men, Brock got a little excited. But anyway, that's what got me back into men's wrestling.
It's those little moments.
Let's start with the women's elimination match. It is Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, Doudrop, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss.
I just had so many favorite looks. I think the moment for me at the beginning was Rhea Ripley just getting ready.
Yeah.
Doing like the 50 Cent, like, I'm ready for this. I was like, yes, you are.
Rhea Ripley looked like she was the rubber man from...
Like American Horror Story?
Yeah, she looked so kinky and sexy.
She was the one that we were most excited about because I watched with Marty and we were just like, yes, that's the look.
And especially from her Raw match, she was in there for 40 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
So she was a big one. Liv Morgan looking like Britney Spears.
I loved it. I did it again to your heart. Wore red, better than Charlotte.
I love all the comparison Liv and Charlotte.
Yeah.
We were laughing at the idea that somebody might have been like, oh, Charlotte, Liv wore red too. And it's like, I mean, she wore red. And then Charlotte had red.
I was very excited to see what Alexa Bliss will be like after weeks of therapy.
Yeah, she's fixed now.
Why'd they give her a swing? Why'd she have her own? So nobody else got a swing in their little chamber.
I liked it. That's cute.
I mean, it's a good look.
She seems still kind of in that mode.
Yeah, I think so too, but not. I guess she just doesn't have her superpowers. She like still shops at Hot Topic, but just doesn't have superpowers.
The therapist does not have her best interests at heart because if he did, he would have told her not to wear that weird jumper that was just gonna almost go over her head every 5 minutes if Rhea didn't tug it up for her.
So what stood out to you in this match?
How fast paced it was.
It really was.
But I loved it. I think it actually worked better for the match in general because most of the time the pods take a little bit longer to open, so it's kind of like, okay, cool, when's the next person in? But I feel like it was just like boom, 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 which kind of like made it go even higher octane and like way faster and way better because I feel like sometimes it might be like there's some awkward spots like where you could kind of like know that they're anticipating somebody else to come in, but I think it was so fast you couldn't have a chance to really think about it.
You know what I noticed though? This show had a weird pacing.
It really did.
All the entrances took like 5 minutes per each person. Charlotte was literally like walking in half steps. I was just like,
it's like they told her, take your time.
Right.
That suit may rip. Baby steps, girl. They were saying that there was a lack of time on the back end, but then there were a lot of promos and things in the beginning that could have been cut. And of course, they had to bring their giant, weird CGI graphics before everything.
Such a fast match. It was like 15 minutes total. I think. So
It was like building and moving, and there was this cool sense of like camaraderie within the competition. Because I don't know if you saw at one point, Liv's foot kind of got stuck, and Doudrop just like loosed it up for her real quick. It was like
the mama who's there to take care of them. Like it was really cute.
It was really cute, and I liked her slice plaid look.
Yeah,
that was
cute.
like a good bodysuit to me.
This was the most Scottish match I think WWE has ever had, since there was two people from Scotland.
Right,
So
and whenever you hear them like chit chat in between, I like remember how Scottish they are.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go to the room, and you're like, wow.
And I also think Nikki at ASH was like the one that looked like she would normally wear that anyway.
It was an awesome.
You know, Rhea too.
She lost her belt though. Nikki ASH, the ref had to like, he had to do the cool little wrap up and tuck in the pocket move.
I was wondering what that was. I thought it was like a yellow flag from the NFL or something. Somebody did that.
Stuff on Alexa's feet at one point. I love that Nikki finally had a new gear because she's wearing the same thing for last.
You know she's been sweating it up.
Oh my
a lot of superhero work out there.
But also, she surprisingly was the one with like a really good story in this match. 'Cause
Yeah.
She had a lot of back and forth, good chemistry with Rhea, but also she brought up a lot of stuff with Alexa too.
Yeah, which I'm glad because I thought they wanted to go into that because it would be really weird if they like completely ignored it. So I'm glad there was a little bit of like, oh yeah, this was a thing.
Remember we wrote that a while ago and now we're still keeping up with it? More of that. I love it.
Let's talk about Liv's momentum for a little bit.
Oh my gosh, she did great. Come in like a house of fire.
Yes.
So good.
And she had her hair right. Like that Britney Spears side,
Right.
like poof thing, that's hard to do and hard to wrestle in. She maintained it and I was like, respect.
They have a star in their hands, and when they finally let her win, it's gonna be like to the moon. But also, I want it to happen already because I don't want her to like lose that momentum.
Right.
There's only so much like losing and underdog and like her almost being there but not getting it. Like strike while the iron is hot. Go for it. Do it now. Like
They made that
so close.
documentary where they
I
were like, look at
know.
this underdog, look at this scrappy hero, and then they're like, and we're gonna really make her do that some more. It's like, no, we want to see her win. We love her. We've been following her for years, and like she's so genuine and authentic and talented. Like, yeah, I'm ready to see her go to the moon.
She looked great in this match, but unfortunately she was the second one to be out of the match. What did we think of Alexa's performance? Her return performance?
It was good. She didn't see like any ring rust or whatever. She came in great. I like how everybody had their like little moments to shine, and she definitely did when she kept on like drop kicking everybody and like beating everybody up, and then like even had that moment. It was so funny with the Rhea and Bianca Belair would both have the vertical suplexes, and that's all I could see was that little skirt. It actually was kind of funny and cute at the same time, and because she was already holding her with one arm as it is, but she's like, whoop, whoop. They kept on having to raise
That
it
was
for
so
her.
cute.
Yeah, I think Alexa looked really good. I don't think we've seen the 100% of what she could do.
Yeah,
I think
she's an athlete.
She's an athlete. She's getting back there. So I'm excited because I feel like she was, for some reason, maybe it's because of those past injuries or something, but she seemed to be restrained a little bit in the ring. I mean, that Charlotte match, Eva Marie match, those were not the best.
Yeah, but those are two partners who are sometimes known for being a little bit rougher on the little gals. I am just tired of this like weird dreamy ding 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 gimmick because it's like far removed from Firefly Funhouse, but it's not Sister Abigail. It's just this kind of like Hot Topic goth.
Yeah.
And it's like either go full goth or go like hot pink and white. Like, I'm good now. That's like, to me, would be so excited if she came out in like completely new, like, I wear white and pink and I'm really nice now. And it's like, we know you're not. We know this therapy's only sort of working. Like, I just want to see them like jump an octave with her, because I feel like for the longest time we've just been playing a very similar melody, and it's like I'm ready for us to kick into that third act for her.
I love Bianca and Rhea's interactions.
Yes.
I love the amount of powerhouses in this match, because I feel like this match, especially Elimination Chamber, you kind of have to have that dynamic, because you can't have like a whole bunch of like 5'0" Alexa Bliss is running around. Like, it's Elimination Chamber. You have to bring some power, some strength on it, so that you have like 3 awesome powerhouses. And they use Elimination Chamber really well, because sometimes I feel like either they use it too much or like not enough. And I like the teasing that they did at the beginning too.
I love when they were banging on each other's doors.
Yeah,
and like
that
you're
was
going
cool.
down, like the easiest place to talk trash is when you're like
behind it, and they come out like, oh man. I really like almost like the storytelling with Elimination Chamber, because sometimes I feel like it's almost not like a throwaway match because it's such a big gimmick match, but you kind of almost lose what's going on in the ring because you're so like focused on like, oh, it's Elimination Chamber. But I think they did a really good job of doing both.
One thing I thought was, for Elimination match, I don't remember like, holy moment. Other than like the Bianca one hand.
Yeah, it was just a really enjoyable like jaunt for me. It felt like a full cast, like the gang's all together and everybody's kind of like moving their pieces. It was an ensemble number.
Yeah, I really like Bianca Belair in this because I feel like she kind of excels in like any type of match that you really throw at her.
She just excels in life.
Yeah,
she excels in life, liberty, the pursuit of wrestling.
At everything. She's so good at everything. But I'm glad we had that moment with like Rhea and Bianca, like anything I could do, you could do better type of thing. And the crowd was super into it. Like it was awesome when they had that face off and they started chanting that this is awesome. So I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And the fact that Bianca won and she's gonna be facing for the title at WrestleMania for the second year in a row just shows that she has not lost any momentum for her like crazy year that she had last year. She just keeps on going, she keeps on getting better, and she shows that she could go in any type of match.
She's so consistent. I see her as somebody where if she's interested in Hollywood, if she's interested in MMA, if she's interested in anything, like pro wrestling tests your skills on every level, and she exceeds expectations every time.
Live action Tangled.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. That would be so good. Yes, let's do it.
I mean, obviously it makes so much storyline sense for Bianca to win and challenge Becky again and probably win. It makes a lot of sense. I'm all for it. I think the right person won, but I also have to point out that this match was very unpredictable for me. I could see Alexa Bliss winning at the end. So
I thought so too. I was like, oh, I guess Bianca's.
They rained lily dolls from the ceiling.
And I could totally see Rhea winning too. So for me, this was an interesting, unpredictable match. Yeah. Overall, loved it.
Me too. I really did. And even though how you did not mention like Liv Morgan or Doudrop winning, unfortunately, but I still think that they still played a big role in the match.
Yeah.
If Liv would have won, I think we would have had like a happy riot.
Like a riot. R.I.P.
But that's why you said it. Oh.
Look what we got!
I know! Yay! I am so excited. When you first told me about this, I was just like, oh my god, I cannot wait to try them.
Magic Spoon, the totally delicious childlike cereal for grown-up, and I love cereal so much.
I can tell you're very excited. I'm very excited for this too.
Packaging is so cute. It's a whole childhood fantasy.
Give me nice warm feelings watching Recess when I was a kid.
Yes.
And like Pepper Ann, and of course The Simpsons.
WWE.
Or WWE, exactly.
WF.
AAA if you were me growing up in Mexico.
Oh, right. So I got the fruity.
I got the frosted.
Cheers.
Oh, okay. That's so good.
So this cereal has 0 grams of sugar, only 4 net grams of carbs, but 13 to 14 grams of protein in each serving.
And only 140 calories per serving.
Can you imagine? They're also keto-friendly.
They're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb.
Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
So click on the link below and use the code RINGTHEBELL for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/ringthebell to save $5 today.
Yes. Let's move to the second match. We got a tag match. Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. And what was the stipulation?
Ronda had her arm tied slightly in front of her waist.
Yeah, it was not even behind her. Because at first when I heard that, I'm like, how is she gonna bump?
I thought that they were gonna do like athletic tape. As soon as I saw them come out with that big white like soccer rope, I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna look great to me.
What do we think of Ronda's outfit, by the way?
I'm such a little fashionista where I was like, it's cool that she's got her gi, like it's cool she's earned these stripes, but I wanted to see like a gear version, so it was like a little tighter to the skin, because I did feel like also with the bulk of the rope and the bulk of her, robe, it made it a little bit just messier when up close to her. Because everybody else you can grip, you've got that Lycra, you've got it like tight. So I almost wanted to see like the Pokemon version of like, this is all just a gimmick, but there's still a belt.
I kind of thought it was a creative workaround what the restrictions that they had. I'm like, oh, that, and then it's kind of cool. They said like, this is what she wore when she won her Olympic medal and all. They really like did the 6-time black belt champion and really honed abandoned on that. So I think it kind of worked that she did actually wear that. And I think they would have mentioned that. It would have been a little bit weirder, but I'm glad that they did mention it. And I also liked how she's like, I'm not putting any makeup on. I'm just putting my hair up, like, whatever. I'm like, this is like in judo mode.
That was a cool, because she stood out from everybody else.
Right, because we know that she sometimes go really overboard with the makeup.
The red flames.
No makeup this time. Yeah, I actually really like the meaning behind it, and it was a fun way to go around the role.
Yeah.
Naomi, I know, she wears jumpsuit regularly.
Yes, and it was like, I just knew she was going to do something cool, and then as soon as those lights hit, you see part of the gear, but not all of it. I was just like, everything she does, I'm such a fan of. She might be one of my top favorite wrestlers.
I also love that Naomi, I feel like they're like, oh, women can't show any skin, they have to be all covered up. But with Naomi, how awesome and hot she is, it almost like accentuates how she looks. Like it almost literally made her like hotter, if that's even possible. It's like, I think you're kind of like missing the point with Naomi, because it's, if anything, it helped her.
Daddy Deville.
Oh my god.
Daddy! Oh, I said, Marty goes, what's she gonna come out in? And I go, I hope she has an evil cloak on. And then she steps out and I go, bingo!
So what do we think of this match? I had some worries going into this match because seeing Ronda's Royal Rumble performance, but then now she has one arm to work with. So I was like, is this a good idea for Ronda?
I think she definitely seemed more comfortable this time around than in Royal Rumble. I don't think she was still like too sure of herself. Obviously her first match back in forever. So if she felt like a little bit more comfortable, and actually maybe her being her judo gi helped, because she's kind of like, this is what I'm used to. But I didn't know what to expect from the match. I was actually a little like, because I think they kind of put Ronda and Charlotte to like help out Sonya and Naomi, but I don't think it needed that.
I was so distracted by the one arm being tied behind the back gimmick that like I was hyper focused on like that arm's over there. Like to me, I just felt like the gimmick was not well directed, and I wish that I were able to open up my mind better. I did really enjoy the interactions. Like obviously everything Naomi does, I would like turn my focus and just get sucked in. I also thought that if Charlotte was going to wear that red bodysuit, they should have at least stuck little cotton balls so it looked like she was doing mocap. She looked so like she was about to be like turned into a CGI person. Like it was so red. It was almost like she was wearing a green screen, but it was red.
Right.
There's a little bit of like sprinkles up at the top, but like not enough. Like you could have continued that down a little bit.
That's why I think that something happened backstage where because she has like hundreds of bodysuits.
Maybe she tried to do mesh or something, and they were like,
That's what I think. That she had like 10 minutes before the show, so she was like, okay, let's just like put something here.
Yeah, because her gear is like always amazing and all that stuff. I mean, she's Ric Flair's daughter. Come on, and she just comes out.
Robe was beautiful,
and that's why I think something did happen, because the robe was so pretty and her gear wasn't. It's just like it was the kind of like a weird disconnect. But I will give it up to Charlotte. I love how much she was playing up to the crowd in this match.
Yes,
because I do feel like in WWE, like you're not wrestling for the crowd in front of you. You're wrestling to the millions watching at home. You know, or at least that's what I was told in my tryouts when I did with that. It was pretty cool to see her interacting with the crowd more and actually playing up with the crowd and working the crowd, because in independent wrestling you get told by your opponent, by the ref, work the crowd, and you kind of like almost see that lost in WWE. But it was kind of cool how she was kind of like edging it on, and I feel like she knew that people were into it and like she could get a reaction. So I did appreciate that from Charlotte, being able to like bring the crowd in even more, because I think they were even into this match as well.
Their crowd reactions were amazing. There were times where you'd rewind just to see like how people had reacted. There were these two boys where one of them was so excited he shoved the other one really hard, and I was like, rewind that, I need to see those boys again.
I actually really like this match because I think it was a good storyline device to not have Charlotte and Ronda touch each other too much, but also we didn't get to see full force Ronda yet because she had her hand, and I think even with the hand tied, I think her judo moves were really cool.
Really good. Her footwork too, like that was one thing where taking one hand out of the game really shows you balance, grounding, like that MMA stuff that not every pro wrestler knows.
There are some points where Charlotte was just like women handling Ronda, like it was.
There were a couple moments where I was like, "Are they cool? Like, is this?" Because the hair stuff, it was always like a lot of like grabbing and flipping and like, woo! I was like, "Oh my gosh, girls, wow!"
But I also just loved that Naomi was the star of this match.
She really was. She really was.
The hot tag, the hot tag was so good.
Sonya Deville, like really, she can carry any puzzle piece that she's part of. She always fits perfectly. She does what's needed, and she's got a lot of charisma too. I'm so into her.
I think there were some concerns about Sonya's like ring rust last time she had a full match. There was a long match too, Naomi versus Sonya. But I think she's quickly getting back. to her prime mode. So.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I think I saw Joey tweet this, but was Sonya Deville the first openly gay wrestler to wrestle in Saudi Arabia? Well, that's kind of cool that she did it. So, like, yeah. I really love the psychology of a tag match whenever they split a ring in half. Like, the build up to that hot tag. Like, oh, so close. Like, how many times where Ronda was, like, so close. And it was kind of cool how at one point Charlotte used her little rope to pull her back.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of creative. So anytime that they come up with creative ways or creative spots to kind of cut the ring in half and make sure don't tag their partner, I think elevates a tag match, and they did that a lot.
Yes.
Even though I feel like a lot of times it felt like it was two singles match going on as opposed to a tag match, kind of like everybody broke off with their, Naomi and Sonya and like Charlotte and Ronda, but with those times when they did try to go for the tag really worked out really well. But going back again, it didn't really seem like a tag match. I felt like Sonya wasn't really mad. It was like, okay, you're just gonna like leave me hanging here. Like I felt it should have been like, yo, we were supposed to be a team. So.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
I love that Charlotte just like let it happen and she just walked away.
Yeah, but I've been like, you were supposed to be my teammate. Okay, you're just gonna leave me hanging here.
She's a queen. She
I
does
also
not
feel
give
like-
up.
I feel like there's definite storm clouds between Sonya and Charlotte, and sometimes when it's like that, it's kind of like, fine, do your thing. Maybe we'll talk about this later, maybe we won't. And I was kind of like, ooh, Sonya has real, like, hot, evil stepmom vibes to me.
Oh my gosh, I just want Sonya Deville and Rhea Ripley to, like, tie me up in a dungeon. Please take me.
Yeah!
Let's go to the third match. Raw Women's Championship match. Lita versus Becky Lynch.
Match of the night. Hands down. I can't even with this match.
The crowd reaction gave me just chills when
Yeah.
Lita just came out. I watched it multiple times because they were exploding.
Yeah, they were exploding, and it was because I think both of these women came in so ready, so refreshed, so in love with wrestling, and then appreciating the crowd. Like, I think to me that match is like everybody was in the moment for the whole time, and it was just like, it made me be in the moment. Like, it made me just glued to the screen. They were glowing.
This was one of those dream matchups that everybody would have always talked about in fantasy booking that you never thought would happen, and then it's actually happened. It's kind of cool to see that, to see like Becky Lynch wrestle somebody she looked up to so much. I mean, I know a thing or two about wrestling a dream match and your childhood hero.
Which Sarah did the commentary for, by the way.
That was me!
Did an amazing job of commentating, as always.
It was an honor and a blast.
My favorite commentary between you and Cody was like, Paloma's not a green wrestler. And then Sarah's like, she's half red at least.
At least. That's green's just a little top of the bottle.
Paloma's not a green wrestler in this business either. She's smart.
Half red anyway.
What stood out to you for this match? There's so many good moments.
Everything is an answer. That falsy at the end. I know I'm jumping ahead of it, but I just want to talk about it right now. That was like the best falsy I've seen in such a long time. Like, that is the epitome of like having the crowd at the palm of your hand. That moonsault when everybody like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, this is like with the false finish of like, and then it wasn't like, oh man, I was on the edge of my seat along with everybody
And
else.
what a redemption from the moonsault a couple years ago that made us all go, oh. She looked so healthy and fit and ready and trained up. Like, I don't know who Lita was working with to like get back into that shape, but like she and Becky, it was like there was no difference. And Becky just had a baby. Like, it was just like, these are two prime athletes. They love what they're doing and they're extremely good at it, and they deserve that match.
I love that Lita came back, and then she talked about this in the Ring the Bell interview. She had like 2 weeks to prepare it for everything.
That's crazy.
Which I didn't tell her at the time. I was like, wait a minute, that makes me a little worried.
Are you gonna be okay, sister?
Because this is their first singles match in like 15, 16 years.
Oh, and her gear was just perfect.
It really was. It was
This
both of
mesh.
us. Like, right?
So I had my concerns, so I even texted her like the night before. I was like,
Oh my
Lita.
God, you did!
I texted Amy Dumas.
Let me
You're
take
my best queen friend.
I texted her about, I'm sending you all the good vibes, because I know how much this means to her, but she did so well.
So much. She didn't look nervous.
No.
And then that real emotion, again, jumping towards the end, where you're just like, this is just real love between two performers.
Right.
You could really see the passion that these two women have for their art form.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be a good wrestler. I think you definitely see a lot of good women's wrestlers, but it's a different thing to see the heart and the passion that these two women bring. Like, you could really see that they left it out there. They brought it. The emotion was there. I don't know. It's just like you could see like a fire in their eyes to like bring it, everything that they had. And Lita looked absolutely amazing. I cannot get over how good she looked look-wise and in the ring. Both of them didn't like skip a beat. This was like a match that was supposed to happen that finally happened, and even then, still exceeded my expectations.
I love that Lita brought her like classic moves.
Yeah.
The DDT was, really,
that was really cool.
She brought back the sleeper hold. She did that to Trish when she had the whole like face mask. I love that. She also brought some new stuff.
Yeah, there were a couple moments where we were like, wait, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I also thought her like strikes and like ground and pound game were really solid.
She has a very unique way of like striking people and moving, and it was so good to see that back.
Yeah, because it is like from a different generation. Becky's a sponge. She learns from everybody. Like her interview with Stone Cold was just like, she's no different than him. They have this brain for pro wrestling. They can't leave it alone. They're always paying attention. They're always learning. And you know Becky's probably still just walking around today like, oh my God, I learned this, I felt this, I did this. And then at the end she had her, you're my best friend, you're my best friend.
Yeah.
That's what I always think they're saying when they're whispering, you're my best friend.
I'm going to figure out what she said, because that was such a sweet moment.
It was
really tough.
And her real tears. Marty goes, get the camera back on Lita, she's got real tears.
So talking about Becky as a sponge, she took something from Lita, the moonsault.
The moonsaults.
Becky did the freaking moonsault. She did the Molly go around at Royal Rumble, so she could do all the aerial stuff. She's just letting Charlotte do that.
Benevolent queen.
I was screaming the entire time from Stratosphere.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trish Stratus. I love that. And to the moonsault.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was like a symbolic match, you know? It was more than what it was. And the fact that it was there where, like, women have historically been kind of like, I don't know if we even want you on the show, to, okay, you can be on the show, but you gotta wear these big dumb shirts, to, like, do your thing, ladies.
Yeah, the fact that you have this match, I almost like, at that when I first started watching and when we were walking down the ramp, I'm like, oh, I really wish it was almost like in Chicago or like New York or Philly, kind of like a wrestling city. But it was kind of almost like awesome to see that happen in Saudi, where there was like such a like different way that women are viewed there.
Right.
But like while that is happening, look at this masterpiece as these two amazing women are putting on in the ring.
I think it almost means more because Lita is the woman that's been inspiring so many women for decades, and so for her to go back, have that return match in Saudi Arabia where there is a lot of women's rights issue, I think that means almost more.
Yes.
And you saw the girls just running to Lita to like touch her and like hug her.
The high fives were like touching my heart, because you see these little girls, and Paloma sees them all the time, like they see wrestlers as superheroes.
Right.
And then to see a wrestler as a superhero up close when like, you know, I don't know when Lita's been in Saudi Arabia before. I don't have the printout, but like she's not there very often. So the fact that it all lined up has got to be just magic for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this match literally gave me chills. Like it was amazing to watch. I almost like, this is women's wrestling. Like for sure, it was so cool. And I did love that both of them had their moment to shine. Storyline, even a story within the match. I could not say not one bad thing about this
Oh
match.
my god, the storyline that led to this match too. It was so respectful. I don't know who wrote the storyline, but I'm just assuming it's Becky because I know that there's a lot of respect.
She said she and
Becky.
Seth spent a lot of time fantasy booking, so I bet they like kind of worked together and like booked the territory and like maybe refined. Like I don't know, because Marty and I do the same thing, and we're not even like regular wrestlers.
I mean, unfortunately, comparing this to like how Trish and Charlotte's storyline was built, or even Alexa and Mickey, you can tell that there's so much respect coming from Becky to Lita. So I really love the storyline. Should we talk about the standing ovation after the match?
Oh my gosh, it's rare that like you get that full standing ovation, but they deserved it, and you could see that Lita, again, in the moment, just feeling every bit of it, and just probably like flashing through her whole career. Like, how can you not, when it's like, it sounds like the ceiling's gonna fall, people are cheering so loud.
And I can't wait to see like the 24 or whatever documentary special they're gonna put this on or the network, because you know it's gonna be
after
amazing.
Mania?
Hopefully,
Maybe.
because I feel like they got the standing ovation, but I'm pretty sure they probably even got that as they got through the curtain. Because when you walk through the gorilla position and you see like get a clap or a standing ovation from the people in the back, that's when it's like even a different level of it.
Twinkles.
You know, it's like
It got emotional.
It really
got
did.
emotional. But it was that good, pure emotion of like, these are tears that just say so much.
Let's think about Lita's retirement match in 2006.
Yeah.
That was very... I mean, the match itself was pretty good with Mickie James, but the send-off afterwards was so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And Lita publicly talked about how she was not comfortable with it, but they just pushed through it.
Literally the redheaded stepchild. It's okay. I've never been quiet about it. I was super uncool with it. I went up the chain. I went to the producers. I went to the writers. I went to Vince. I went back to the producers, back to the writers, back to Vince. And that was it was a hard no.
From there to finally getting her flowers and respect in front of this huge crowd, I think it was
chills.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you think that Lita's gonna wrestle more?
I don't know.
Because either you have that match and you go, book closed, I'm ready to move on. I mean, she could just. Her friends on Twitch, she's the sweetest Twitch presence. She has this community. She's so kind to people. There's so many routes she could go if she wanted to hang up the boots. That being said, maybe it bit her again, and maybe we'll see her, show up somewhere. The Indies would be jonesing down a Paloma and Lita match. But I don't know. I'm of two minds. Anything she does, I think, will be a blessed path because you can tell she's put the work in. She seems like a kind person, and she deserves everything she's got.
I mean, Bayley's coming back. Maybe Bayley versus Lita WrestleMania.
Oh, okay, I'm in. Ding dong.
And it's kind of hard for me because, like you said, that was such a good match. It was a perfect cherry on top for an already amazing career. But also she did so good and didn't skip a beat, brought new moves. I'm I kind of want to see more.
I think she out wrestled all the male legends that came back for Saudi Arabia.
She was glowing while she was doing it.
Instead of being blown up or oh man, I don't know if she went through that with ease.
She didn't even Goldberg bash her head ahead of time and bleed the whole match.
I mean, if we're thinking business, we know that AEW was interested in Lita. I'm sure they will want her even more after seeing this match.
Yeah, can you imagine her just beating the shit out of Britt Baker?
So WWE better lock her up now. Give her a freaking full-time contract or something.
I would love to see Lita in a WrestleMania match this year.
So that was our Elimination Chamber review. I had such a good time watching this.
I'm 100% satisfied. I actually sometimes do not really look forward to the Saudi Arabia shows because, that's always in the back of my mind, how women's rights are over there. But this kind of felt good and right and being able to have these three amazing women's matches, and I think they all brought their own story. They all had a role to play on the show, and they definitely I think were the MVPs of the show. I definitely feel the women brought it.
Looking back from the first Saudi show to the first women's match there, I mean, we see so much progression, so that is always very good to see. Thank you so much for joining in for our Elimination Chamber review.
I always have a blast. Ring the bell is great. If you haven't, click that like, click that subscribe, and ring the bell.
And if you haven't looked at my interview with Lita yet, what were you doing? She went through top 5 moments of her career before the Elimination Chamber match to just get ready. Remember how legendary she is? Watch that if you haven't yet.
So good interview.
So I freaking love it. Paloma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Paloma Star on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure you check out our merch store too for Ring the Bell. And I have my own merch store too at Pro Wrestling Tees.
At Sarah Joy Shockey on Twitter. Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling comes out weekly on Fridays on the MLW Radio Network. Wherever you find your podcast, we just talk funny stuff about pro wrestling.
It's amazing. You haven't checked it out. If you like Ring the Bell, I 100% guarantee you will like Marty and Sarah Love
And if you scroll back, we have an interview with Paloma Star.
And you can find me at DS and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye!